Hey, it's Nia Emil, and welcome back to When Fashion Meets Personality. In this series, we go over not only how characters develop through actions, words, even relationships, but also through their fashion. And in today's episode, we're talking about one of the most iconic TV show characters that I know of, and that is Miss Raven Baxter from Deso Raven. For Raven Baxter, fashion wasn't just about looking good. Raven's fashion wasn't just about trends. It was a direct reflection of her bold personality, her creativity, and her ability to think outside the box. Whether she was designing clothes, sneaking into fashion shows, or pulling off one of her wild disguises, Raven Baxter is truly a fashion icon. So, without further ado, let's dive into this episode so we can discuss how Raven Baxter's character development was shown through her fashion through all seasons of That's So Raven. Okay, so we're starting off with season one of Deso Raven. And in this season, Raven's personality and her fashion is very much playful and experimental. Raven is already bold, confident, and expressive from the jump. Her fashion is colorful, layered, and playful, which perfectly matches her vibrant personality. And outside of Raven's fashion sense, even her personality itself, like take away her fashion, everything else, her personality itself is even fashionable to me, if that even makes sense. So now I'll be going into some key looks and styling characteristics of Raven in the first season. So first, we'll talk about her denim looks, especially her denim on denim looks. In general, denim is such a 2000 staple, and especially the denim on denim look. And it just shows her trendy side. And as I said in the intro, Raven was never chasing trends. I'm saying this showing her trendy side in the sense that, oh, she already had the style. She had the platform. Like, she already knew what was needed when it came to looks. So she didn't have to follow trends. She made them. Because the denim looks that she had on That's So Raven, I still want to wear them looks to this day. So let's really get into that. Next, she has so many funky patterns in bold colors. This just simply shows that she's not afraid to stand out. Raven's character is so confident, so of course she's going to stand out. Of course she's going to do everything that's against the odds, basically. And not to say that she's trying to be a pick-me, she's trying to be different. No, she just is different. She's fucking Raven Baxter, like, ah. And lastly, her layering this season was everything. From vests to scarves to different accessories. Her layering really showed a reflection of her extra and dramatic personality, which I love either way. Next, we're heading into season two, where Raven has a lot of personalization and statement pieces. Raven's creativity definitely starts to shine way more. She experiments with fashion and even designs some of her own clothes. Her outfits are a bit more polished this season, but still very much loud and full of her personality. And like I said about season one, Raven's personality alone is fashionable. So her taking a step into experimentation, into designing her own clothes, it just shows that not only her actual personality is getting amplified, but it's going to start reflecting in the amplification of her fashion. So let's get into some of her key looks and styling characteristics of the second season. So Raven has custom jackets and a lot of DIY pieces. As I mentioned, she's started to design her own fashion. She's so much more hands-on with fashion, and it's reflecting so much that she's expressing it a lot during the second season as well, to her friends, of course to her family, and also to herself, to let herself know that this is something that she can accomplish. Next, we have the iconic oversized belts, which one of my big sisters took very much liking in. That whole era, she was like loving the little chunky thick belts. Like, I don't know, this is like a TMI, but not really because it's tying into the fashion. But that was just so cute to me because I know that Raven inspired her to do stuff like that. And also her flared jeans. So the peak of the Y2K or early 2000s style was the flared jeans, like bell bottoms, even, I don't know if y'all can see. Hold on. I actually have on my flared pair of jeans right now. Yes, ma'am. These are like, the flare is huge on these. So we absolutely love that. And also with the chunky belts, things like that was just peak early 2000s fashion. So of course Of course, Raven was in on that. Because, like I said, she doesn't follow the trends. She made those trends. Okay? Next, we have her playful hats. And now we're getting into some of her hairstyles. They were very spunky, very funky, and just very... If you ever saw the early 2000s black hair magazines, Raven Baxter would easily be in one of them. And this really just shows that her personality wasn't just about the actual clothing. It was about the accessories. It was about the hairstyles, because all of that ties into the what? The look. Okay? This is just a little tidbit, but I feel like people get so caught up focusing only on their hair. Like, it'd be like one or the other. People put too much focus on the clothes, or they put too much focus on the hair, and it just... When you put too much focus on one thing, that's what the focus is going to be on. When you are putting together a look, the focus should be everywhere. As y'all can see. You know what I'm saying though? The focus should be everywhere from head to toe. Like, it shouldn't just be a focus on one thing. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Okay. Alright, now we're moving into the third season of Deso Raven, where we now see that Raven's character has developed with such confidence and drama. Raven's self-assurance is at an all-time high, and her fashion reflects that, obviously. Her outfits are more bolder, more coordinated, and theatrical, because, of course, that's just the Raven Baxter way. And of course, all of these things are getting amplified, because the thing about Raven, she's just not trying to walk into a room just to walk in there. She's walking into a room to make an entrance. You hear the difference. You hear the difference. So with that being said, some of her key looks and styling characteristics from the third season includes power suits and dressier symbols. So what I mean by this is that her style, when it comes to the power suits and just having a little bit more polished or dressier attire, it just shows that she's leveling up. Like I said, her confidence is amplified. The theatrics are amplified. It's at an all-time high. But now, because she's getting more mature, because she's learning so much more about herself, it's now becoming a little bit more thought out, if that makes sense. Next, we have the faux fur coats and dramatic prints. Anything that's fur, if I'm wearing it, once I actually break it down, I know it's because of watching Deso Raven growing up, of watching that intro and seeing that gorgeous buzz down outfit that she had on. But anyway, with this just shows that she lives for a fashion moment. And as I said, this ties back into how theatrical and dramatic that she is. This is just her self-expression, and there's nothing wrong with that, and it paid off. Look at me, I'm literally sitting down making a video about her fashion from literally all them years ago. So kudos to you, Raven. And now next, we see that she has more sophisticated color combos. Of course, it's a bit more polished, as I mentioned, but it's still playful. I feel like that's a touch that you will never take out of Raven, just because of the fact that that's a part of her personality. The playfulness, the theatrics, the drama. Her drama isn't the drama where it's like, oh, I'm sophisticated, I'm this. It's more of like the drama where it's sophistication still meets the playfulness, the immaturities in a way, even though she is still maturing. So yes, the season 3 looks were definitely just full of drama, confidence, and just the amplified Raven Baxter. Alright y'all, so now we're moving into the 4th and final season. Hi! What's wrong? Come here! Hi! In this season, Raven is a full fashion icon. She's at that status now. Like, she was at that status with the intro alone. Let's really talk about it. But, of course, for the 4th and final season, she's just at her most highest elevated self that we can see of her character. Raven is fully in her element, embracing fashion on all levels. Her dream of being a fashion designer is clearer than ever. And her outfits are a reflection of her expertise. Okay? So some key looks and styling characteristics of her character this season was more structured and high fashion pieces. And of course, like I said, she's tapping so much into her fashion designer element. So of course, we're going to see more elevation in her fashion. She's truly stepping into her designer self. Next, we even see more statement outerwear. You know, with Raven, she would have coats and jackets and things like that, but we really would see Raven in a school setting and then at home. So this season, we really got to see her wearing a lot of jackets and a lot of coats that made an impact. Like, these pieces I still remember in my brain to this day. And like I said, it even inspired me for my New Year's look to have like a fur coat. And I have y'all, I will literally show, I'm not even joking, I'm going to show you at the end of the video. I have so many different variations of like fur-esque type of coats, and I'm telling y'all, in the back of this pretty little brain of mine, I know my brain, my subconscious was thinking of Raven Baxter while buying these pieces or getting these pieces. And lastly, she has even more unique custom elements within her fashion. So what I mean by this is that she's wearing her own visions. Wink, wink. But seriously, no pun intended, but that's really what's happening. You know, Raven was obviously, I don't even think I mentioned that, but if you don't know, Raven is psychic. She has visions. So with these visions, sometimes a lot of these visions was about her fashion and just in general her personal life and things like that. But now within this season, it's kind of like all of her visions paid off. All of her visions added up to be able to have her own, like, how do I explain this? Of course, she was able to see in the future, but it's like now within this season, her visions was able to be added up into a present vision, not a future vision, of a present vision of what she wanted herself to be. And obviously, like I said, Raven's personality is naturally fashionable. So obviously they're reflecting into what her fashion and what her designer career wanted to be as well. So we love, love, love that. Now, I know I wrapped up the 4th and final season of Deso Raven, but I cannot end this video without mentioning how iconic Raven Baxter's disguises were. In general, Raven-Symoné is such a good actress. Her ability to get into different characters was just so amazing, and just the different disguises that she pulled off within the episodes of each season was just amazing. My favorite disguise that she did was when she played as her, I believe that was her father's side of the family who stayed at the farm ranch. And that's like one of my favorite episodes of Deso Raven, period. I believe that was the like 2 or 3 part series. First off, her iconic cowgirl outfit was just chef's kiss. But in regard to the disguises, for her to be into characters, all the different family members, it was just so freaking amazing. Like, her disguises were just always on point, always so funny, right? And there was just always a moment, and I just think it just shows, time back to Raven-Symoné, it just shows how much of a wonderful actress that she is. You know, I was always used to seeing skits like that, or like those disguises like that on shows like Martin or the Jamie Foxx show. So when I was able to see a woman doing that, and not only a woman but a young black girl, it was just so amazing to me, and it just made me love Raven like 10 times more. So yeah, like I said, I could not end this video without mentioning how iconic her disguises were and just tapping into some of them. But with that being said, this is how Raven's fashion perfectly captured her personality. Bold, creative, and always a little extra. Well, a lot of extra. Whether she was rocking a custom design, layering on her accessories, or pulling off one of her iconic disguises, her style was just as expressive as she was. And with that, that's the end of this episode, and I really hope that you enjoyed it. I don't want to keep wasting too much more of your time or my time, so see you next time. Bye!
Radiant, carefree, dreamy, Adrian, the fragrance.